this game ends up going the distance here, simply because... Welcome to Catalina. We're spawning here in the 9 o'clock position as the yellow Zerg player, taking a 3-0 lead, ladies and gents, against a very, very strong opponent. He represents team mYinsanity and goes by the handle of Petraeus. His opponent, spawning in the 1 o'clock position as the green Terran player, formerly of Root Gaming and 8th Team. He's got a little bit of a mountain to climb now, but he has got the skill to climb it. Will he do it? It's Major. Alright, now 3 games we've seen Reaper opening, followed by reasonably fast third command center coming out from Major. 3 games we've seen losses. Admittedly, the first game was a very, very quick loss, and the second and third games were much longer, but they're 3 losses nonetheless. Are we going to see Major potentially mix things up here? I'm not sure, and we will find out. Whew. This is potentially tense. We've never had a 4-0 situation here, and that would only happen, of course, if Petraeus wins this game. But right now, I have to say he's looking on course to do that. He's been very, very solid. He's been good with his mid-game harass as well. So the Mutalisks and Ling run buys have just basically cut Major up, actually, over the last couple of games. He needs to recover from that and see what kind of strategy here he'll be able to inflict upon Petraeus to really hurt him. We haven't seen any Hellion Banshee yet, for example, this series, and I wonder if we'll be seeing that this time around. Now, we are going to be going for the Hatchers, followed by a much earlier Gaston Pool this time for Petraeus. So, indicative that he's going to be going for an earlier Zergling speed, quite possibly, to maintain that map control. And this Overlord will be able to spot the barracks in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Is he going to turn around? No, he's not going to turn around. He just wants to scout, which is fair enough. It's not 100% clear which direction this Overlord came from, but I think the angle is just about enough that Major should be convinced it came from the left-hand side. And a Marine is going to try and kill off this Overlord. He probably needs to fly, I want to say this way. Oh, there are 2 Marines here. Actually, this Overlord is toast. It's gone. It's trying to run away. It's bleeding. And it goes pop, ladies and gentlemen. And wow, I didn't realize actually its spine was part of that. That's actually a really graphic image. Oh my goodness. We shouldn't be showing this to people. Ah, PG-13, ladies and gents. Everybody watch out. Alright, the Zergling speed now. About a quarter of the way done for Petraeus. We've got the double Queen on the way as well. And we're starting the first 10. 10 Lings is actually quite a lot for this stage of the game. He hasn't, by the way, got any additional gas. So he isn't following this up with an immediate Bailey nest or anything like that. He's just got 12 Zerglings for the sake of getting 12 Zerglings. So I wonder if he thinks some sort of very, very early aggression is coming through. But back over here, Major's just starting his factory now. We've got the reactor going down on the barracks. The second command center is complete now, and we have the bunker going down. Now, I don't think there's a third in production at all, so it's only the 5-minute 20 mark after all, guys. But in previous games, we've seen games where the orbital command at the natural and the third command center were in production at the same time, and Major has definitely switched something up. So the bunker killing off a Zergling and preventing those units from poking it. Petraeus is going to have to send a whole bunch of Overlords now to scout afresh. And here is, oh, very, very nice raise of the depot there. Here is the third command center, a little bit later than otherwise. I'm surprised these Marines aren't going from the bunker to try and kill off these units here. Oh, there we go. And they are, and the Zerglings are trying to surround them before they get back into the bunker. 3 of them get in, though. And one of the Marines does go down, but that's generally speaking well defended from Major there. And now Petraeus is just looking for a third CC, I think, with this Overlord. He wants to see, is this actually going to be the strategy once again? He's moving forward. Yeah, and he's going to be seeing this one on that trajectory. Really, really well done from Petraeus. Oh, is he just... He's just going to miss it. He's literally just going to miss it, ladies and gents, so he won't see the third CC. Oh, he's getting so close to seeing it. Okay, he must see it now. Yes, alright, there we go. So close to missing it entirely, but Petraeus has found what he's looking for, and this time around, ladies and gents, we have a roach warren going down. But in addition to the third hatchery about to finish up as well, and we're switching it up here. Major is indeed going to be going for those banshees, so let's see how much damage he can do here in game number 4. He certainly needs to get some damage done so that he could get on the board right now. He's currently 3-0 down, a very rough spot to be. Oh, man. And this Overlord's actually going to spot it all as well. He even sees that Cloak is being researched. That's really, really good. This Overlord will sacrifice his life, but it's going to be entirely worth it. As, well, the Banshees now are going to be starting to wreak havoc inside the mineral lines, but the Spore Crawlers will be there. We've also got the Queens, in fact, over here in the third base location. So very, very difficult, actually, for Major to make headway. Petraeus, in the meantime... oh, wow. Well, the first roaches are out, so those 3 Hellions are all of a sudden just not going to scare Petraeus at all. And Spore Crawlers in every mineral line, plus at the front, makes it a little bit tricky. A scan where the 2 Evo chambers are going down as well, in addition to the roach warren, makes things just a little trickier. And here is a Banshee chilling out with an Overlord. Let's see how much damage Major can do. 0 workers killed versus 0 so far this game, guys. As Major continues to produce Banshees back home. Has he got Cloak? He does have Cloak, so he did let it finish researching. But it hasn't actually done any damage just yet. Do we want the Banshees for a frontal attack, perhaps? Is that what he's changing his tack to? He's certainly looking like he might be moving through the center. The Banshee's just sitting there waiting very, very patiently. Perhaps doing some sort of version of almost a 1-1-1 style attack where you get as much DPS as possible. 4 barracks incoming now. Are we going to see a flood of Marines? Oh, well, not just yet. It turns out the second Banshee was just being waited for so that they could go in with Cloak together. And now, the Spore Crawler will be able to spot them despite being cloaked, by the way. So the Queen is in a little bit of a difficult situation, but there are 3 of her friends to come over here and help. And actually, these Banshees didn't get much done at all. Only 2 workers killed so far. So just a really, really good job right now from Petraeus. But can Major find a chink in the armor and see if he can find a weak spot where he's actually able to go in and do some of that sweet damage? He's moving into the third base now. He's probably got a little bit here on the left-hand side, but that's really about it. There's a Spore Crawler here as well, coming very, very close, actually, to killing these 2 Banshees. And the Queens are also going to be joining in this endeavor as well. Now, the armory is nearly complete, so a potential for those Hellions that were produced later to all become Hellbats as part of a mid to late game army. In the meantime, we could potentially be seeing the Spire again, as the lair is, well, it's almost complete, but don't forget, it's the 11-minute 30-second mark right now, so it's not exactly early, and we in fact have a macro hatch going down. So in fact, I want to say 2 macro hatches. No, it's a macro hatch and a 4th base going down for Petraeus. Major's decided that now is the time to try and go ahead and push out, and we have Hellbats in addition, ladies and gents. 2 Marines incoming, potentially very strong indeed. Combat Shield, though, is nowhere close to that. It's only about a third of the way. He does have Stim, though, and no doubt he'll be using that to try and get his units into a more maneuverable position. So now we are moving out, getting onto creep against the third base. Petraeus sees exactly what's going on here. He moves up the round to defend. He's got an extra Queen there as well. And I don't really think he make too much leeway with this many Banelings and Roaches on the field. In the meantime, we have a counterattack in the form of Zergling going up to the right-hand side location. But Major has this covered. And a couple of them might have been able to run past, but so many of them would have died. Ooh, 3 Lings almost getting in. Really good raise once again on those depots as well. And this army is being, well, forced back, actually. Petraeus is just not able to make any inroads. And Major's able to clear him out of the right-hand side of the map. But in the meantime, the economy is flourishing for our Zerg player. A lot of creep is getting spread into the middle of the map now. And I have to say, macro-wise, Petraeus is doing an okay job here. The Spire, nowhere close to completion. But also not really mattering too much. We don't really see any pressure from Major up against the creep just yet. He's feeling like Major's a little nervous about these kind of engagements. This small link force as well is getting engaged on and will just about go down thanks to these Widow Mines. There we go. That's one of them. Making an excellent hit. There's a second one making an excellent hit as well. And now we have Major trying to come in. A lot of Banelings here. Oh, wow. Great hit from the Hellbats, meaning that a lot of them go down. But now there are more Roaches and more Banelings against this Terran army. And that's a pretty decent explosion, actually. What's left is certainly not going to be enough to conquer a game of StarCraft 2. Petraeus, though, not yet ahead in army supply. It's 74 works to 69, and the overall supplies are 139 to 153. So right now, Major's doing okay. Needs to be thinking about a fourth base at some point soon, which is why we have things like Widow Mines over here. Should be able to take that and get rid of this Overlord and say what is next. But we'll see. A lot of medevacs here out in the middle of the map. The creep has also been moved about a bit. And we're moving on to creep. A lot of Roaches, a decent number of Banelings. I wouldn't say a tidal wave of them, but potentially enough to make it count at least on creep. Whoopsie daisy, scrolling a little bit too quickly there. And more Banelings incoming now. 26 more Lings on the way. And Petraeus is taking this threat very, very seriously indeed. Another command center being built here by the looks of things. Yes, it is. So potentially looking to expand to a fifth location to try to grab as much money on this map as possible. Maybe even taking a hidden base somewhere near the bottom left. A lot of creep troopers just got taken out. In addition to just a couple of other units, but not too many right now. At Major, he's slowly pressing ahead with these Widow Mines. I love their placement. He'll be able to leapfrog them into place onto creep. But he's not really killing bases right now. He's back up to 69 workers. Both sides are on 2-2. And +3 armor has just started for our Terran. And we don't have any +3s coming in for our Zerg. We actually just have +1 attack on the Mutas. But it looks like he might be getting in position to defend this now. A couple of Queens have already gone down. And if we take a look, that's basically the distance that separates the armies right now. The army supply is 131 to 88 in Major's favor, but the resupply, especially on creep, is going to be so much faster for Petraeus. So let's see how well the potential next engagement is and how much value both sides have been able to get out of it. Another Zergling run by potentially coming by on the south side. This Marine fails to see it completely. There's a drop here now. Finally, we see some drops. I really, really like this. Moving into this particular base here. And we have a big engagement. A lot of Banelings supported by Roaches now trying to attack the Marines over here in the top left-hand corner of the map. Doesn't look like it's working too well so far. In the meantime, we have a Zergling run by. And oh, he needs to be careful. This bunker, it's going to go down. Yes, it goes down. And a lot of SCVs here are about to get, well, a little bit problemated. Good raise on that depot. But in the meantime, oh my god, did you see that? Those were some pretty sick Widow Mine hits, guys. When the dust settles, it's 171 to 162 supply in favor of Major right now, who's also got 108 army supply versus 89. He's done a pretty good job at attacking 3 places at once, but I wonder what would happen if he just went with everything. If he takes a cost-efficient engagement and goes to everything, I think he might be able to put a big, big dent in Petraeus' defenses before Petraeus is able to come out on field with a significant number of Swarm Hosts. As it stands, Enduring Locust is done. A number of Swarm Hosts are on the field. 4 have just been made, so that's bringing the total up to 7 now. And we also have more Mutalisks coming in, so really trying to spend that gas and really trying to transition his way into a potential endgame here. And I really like this, just leaving the Swarm Host just within range to potentially come out and kill off this bunker, meaning that Major can't just constantly say no and ignore this threat. He actually has to make sure he gets rid of these Swarm Hosts, otherwise that base could go down very, very quickly indeed. Subsequent scans now moving out, trying to clear off those creep tubers, but being so conscious as well not to stray too deep onto Zerg territory. Major now trying to pick off this hatchery. I think you snipe it and run, mate, at the best of times. Where is the army? It looks like the Swarm Hosts have gone over here. And, well, that hatchery is going to go down. That was not stiff resistance, I have to be honest, from the Zerg player. And now the Swarm Hosts have been found. The Swarm Hosts have been found. This could be disastrous for our Zerg. Moving in now once again now with a lot of Banelings and Mutalisks. Will this be enough to make up for it? It's 171 versus 174 supply. A massive number of units are about to die. We see the Zerg pulling back. Terra now getting an excellent concave over here into the third base location. There's still so much DPS in these Marines. I wonder if he can just simply push right through. The number of swarm hosts left is not very big. It's 11, but they're not all together. And, well, I actually just straight up thought that we're going to be going for the throat right there and then. So I'm a little bit surprised that Major pulled back this way in particular. I thought he might have been able to slide the third hatch. But hey, why play sorry when you can play safe? So absolutely no complaints there, I suppose, from a playing point of view. But that was a tense couple of minutes, and Petraeus now is in a little bit of trouble because he did lose his natural third, which means he's down to 4 bases, of course, plus any sort of potential macro hatches. And Swarm hosts now continuing. Are they getting more numerous on the field, actually? Yes, there are 16 out now. So they're getting bigger and bigger in number. They're going to very, very slowly pick apart unit by unit by unit. We need to see some splash damage, potentially some tags coming out of Juan quite soon if Major wants to be able to dispel en masse these locusts before they do significant damage to his bio. I mean, he could also just have sort of a ridiculous number of medevacs. I guess that would work as well, but you want to be able to damaging the enemy at the same time. So I quite like the idea of going siege tags for that splash damage. Hive nearing completion now for Petraeus. In the meantime, we are all the way up to 8 barracks at the moment, and doing a reasonably good job on the bank front as well. Both players are more or less maxed out, with Major on 2,000 as far as his bank is concerned. A very, very healthy number. 600, 800 at the moment for Petraeus. Nowhere near as big, and Major looks like he's making a move into the middle of the map. I'm not sure how much further he's going to be able to get onto creep because this army really is big and it really is very, very scary, but he might well give it a go. Moving down the southern corridor here, and he's going to be moving up against the, I guess, what would be called 5th or 4th base. I'm not 100% certain which. He's moving down to check this hatchery. Did a good job of that as well because it's currently in construction. That gets cancelled. Absolutely no problem. Easy peasy. And now, this is going to end up being a doom drop. He's moving, ladies and gents, into where the hive is. And this is a big deal. This is a massive, massive big deal. This is nothing that Mutalisks can handle on their own anymore. He's going to be able to try and pick off, is it the hatchery and the hive? Is that really what he's after here? The army's taking so long to come back. The hatchery goes down. Here come the Zerglings. Here come a bunch of Baileys. Good splits from Major. Wow. Several Baileys going off on the Marauders there. Not doing a terrible amount at all, but more Baileys coming in. Try to split the army as much as they can. Great defense. Fantastic splits. And the medevacs coming in as well. And all of a sudden, Petraeus is in a lot of trouble indeed. The hive is under siege right now. There are more and more army units just continuing to destroy this economy. What is Petraeus going to do? We need to see like Ultralisk Baneling potentially coming in. He's going in for one more shout. A lot of Banelings in here. The hive down to 1/3 health. Major though having to retreat, having to absolutely have all hands on deck and run back. And I think finally the Zerg is going to be able to win this particular battle. And it's a question once again now of how many medevacs Juan is managing to bring home. Looks like the answer as it currently stands is 5, but there are a couple of Mutalisks following these guys. Ooh, great Widowmine placements and fantastic hits as well. So, both sides are potentially going to be settling here. And while we were talking, by the way, we actually also have Major up to 5 bases. So he's doing a pretty good job for himself. He's taken this base and he's taken this base. Let's see if Petraeus knows about both of them. He knows about one, but not necessarily about the other. Number of workers killed this game is 34 to 13 in favor of Major, guys. So he's been doing a much better job harassing. We can see another drop over here in the northern base. And I actually think this hatchery might go down as well. Where are the nearest units? They're nowhere to be found. Yes, this hatchery is going to go down as well. Goodbye, base. And could this be the start of the comeback for Major? He's doing a great job so far. The Swarmos, in the meantime, are trying to limit Terran expansion out on the map, but it's really difficult to do where they're in completely different directions down there, ladies and gents. And that's really the challenge that that we have at the moment for our Zerg. Petraeus is doing everything he possibly can. He's at 165 supply versus maxed out. And this time around, there's a fully 3-3 army. GG, ladies and gents. And Major wins game number 4. So he avoids going 4-0 down early on. And we are going to see a 3-1 situation.